Welcome back, and in this video we're going to work on the next game asset, which is to make this low poly barrel. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe and support my little channel and like this video if it helps you. With the starter scene open, click on that cube and hit the X key and press enter confirm. A barrel's basic shape is a cylinder, so let's add one in. Hold down the shift key and press A, then mesh, and then you have cylinder. When you add a new object, you have these options at the bottom where you can adjust it only as you add it. As soon as you move on from adding and you do other changes, you lose these options. And the only way to get here is by deleting that object and then redoing this again. So while we have this in this initial stage, we can go in the properties for the cylinder and change the vertices from 32 to, let's say, 8 to give it that low poly feel. And then we can just minimize this. Now in our image, we have these metal rings that go around, and it's a little bit fatter in the midsection. We're going to do that. So by clicking on the tab key to go into edit mode, and then I'm going to use my middle mouse button just to have a look around holding it down, and then I'm going to press Ctrl R to do a loop cut. Now over here you have the options to do loop cuts. You can click on that, or as you can see you can do Ctrl R. So I'm going to do a Ctrl R, and then you can do a loop cut that's either vertically if you bring it up here, or horizontally. We're going to do it horizontally, but before I left click to confirm that, I'm going to use my mouse wheel. So I'm going to scroll it, and you can see now I can do 2 cuts. I want to do 2 cuts. Click the left mouse button to confirm that, and now we can actually move that. But I don't want to move it, I want to keep it in the default position by pressing either the escape key or pressing the right mouse button, and that confirms that. Now we want to bring these lines, these edges up closer to the ends of the barrel, so I'm going to press the S key on the keyboard and the Z key to scale it in the Z axis, and I'm going to move my mouse, and you can see they start getting close to the ends. I'm going to put mine around about here, which is let's say 2, so I'm going to press 2 on my keyboard to get it exactly there, and then press enter. You can do the same if you like, or move it wherever you like. Now we're going to do it again to get the kind of like in this case the bottom of the ring. So I'm going to go Ctrl R, use my mouse wheel to get 2 loop cuts, left click to confirm, right click to confirm it in the default position, press S to scale in the Z direction and move it closer. I'm going to do about 1.8, so 1.8. and press enter, and you should have something like this. Now what we're going to do is just increase the the midsection a bit to swell it out a bit. So while we're still in edge mode, as you can see here, but you can either get there by clicking here or pressing 2 if you're not there, and then I want you to hold down the Alt key and left click here, and that does a loop select around there, a ring select. Then I want you to hold down the shift key and press the Alt key again and again and again. That's holding down the shift key and the Alt key and left click. Now what I want you to do is press S to scale and shift Z this time, so that it locks it only on the X and Y axes, and you can scale it out a bit. Yeah, I'm going to do mine around about 1.8, let's say. Sorry, 1.08. And that fattens it up a bit. Next, we're going to bring out those rings. So we need to go into face mode by either clicking here or pressing number 3. And you can either click the first face and then click the others, or what you can do is again a ring select. Now what I do, I'm going to use my mouse wheel to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to hold down the Alt key and press this edge here. and that will do a ring select around the whole lot. Let me deselect that to show you again. So if I hold down the Alt key and click here, it's going to do a ring select around here, complete a selection here. But if I do it on this edge here, it knows to go around. So Alt, left click with faces selected, and there you go. Now hold down the Shift key and do that again on one of these edges. So we select that one as well. And then I want you to press the E key to extrude, and I'm going to go around about 0.04. Okay, and that extrudes it out, but you notice it extrudes it out in a certain direction. Okay, so Control Z to undo that. What we want is for it to extrude on each of the faces, and to do this, what you do is you press Alt E and we extrude faces along normals. And as you can see, as I move my mouse, it does it correctly. And again, I'm going to go 0.04 to about there. Now our barrel's starting to come really well. So we're going to have focus now on this top face. Our barrels normally don't have this single flat face, so we're going to give this one a little bit more character. So with faces selected, I want you to click on this top face and then press X to delete and select faces. We can see inside there. Now what we're going to do is fill in some polygons, okay, some faces, and create those planks that you see on the top. So I want you to go to edge mode by pressing 2 or clicking up here. So I'm going to press 2, select this face, this edge, and I want you to select the opposite edge, holding down the Shift key, select it. So we've got both of those selected. Then I want you to press the F key, and that fills that in. I want you to do the same thing for the other two. So I'm going to click on this one, hold down the Shift key, click on the opposite, F key, and again click, hold down the Shift key, and make sure you click the right one. Okay, F to fill. And then we have our 3 planks of wood at the top. Now what we can do is just extrude those down. But before that, we're going to give these sides a bit of volume, and to do that we're going to hold down, we're going to go back into face select by pressing 3 and select each of these faces by holding down the Shift key. I'm going to press I to inset, and we learnt that in the previous video, so press I and you can bring those in. Okay, I'm going to bring mine in around about 0.08. Okay, press enter to confirm. Next we're going to extrude these, but in the opposite direction this time. I'm going to, with those faces selected, I'm going to press E on the keyboard and you can go down. We're going to go around about, you can type it in this way, which is you can either type in -0.15 or you can type in 1.5, which 0.15, but then do the negative key and then press enter. Now that you saw how I did it for the top of the barrel, press pause now and you have a go on the bottom part, and then let's resume and I'll show you how I did it. So how'd you go? Again, I'm going to do the exact steps that I did for the top face. I'm going to use my mouse wheel on my middle mouse button to scroll down to the bottom to have a good view here. While I've got faces selected, which is number 3, click on that face, press X to delete, and I'm going to press enter since faces is highlighted. And then I'm going to go into edge mode by pressing number 2 to edge select. I'm going to click on this edge, holding down the Shift key, the opposite edge, and press F to fill. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other 2, making sure that I click on the right edges. And then I'm going to go back into face mode by pressing 3 and select these 3 faces. I'm going to press I to inset, and I'm going to go 0.08 and press enter. And then I'm going to extrude by pressing E and negative 0.15. Press enter, and there you go. Got the bottom face. So now it's time to color this in. But you do recall that we added this in as a new cylinder, so we don't have it set yet to use our texture that we had set for the cube. But because we had already set that for the cube, we can make sure that we can apply that to this barrel. So go back into object mode by pressing tab, and then under materials here, click on that, and then on this little down arrow, select that material, and there you go. Press tab and make sure you've got faces selected there, which is number 3. I want you to press A to select all faces, and you can see it represented here. I want you to move your mouse over to this side, press A to select all the faces and vertices and edges, and then I want you to press S to scale to 0 to a point. And then I want you to press G and move that to a nice dark brown. Now we're going to move on to colouring in those rings, and now we can do it the long way. While we're in face mode, face select, we can click and hold down the shift key and select all those faces, but you already know that if you hold down the alt key and click on this edge, you'll select all those on that side around, okay? And if you hold down the shift key and click on, let's say, this edge, you'll select that metal band as well. But then we've got the top and we've got the bottom. A great tip, you can hold down the shift key and select each of those faces if you like, but the quickest way is press the control key and plus. What that does, expands the selection to the adjacent faces of what's selected, which is fantastic and exactly what we need. So with those rings selected and all those faces for those rings selected, go over here and color it to a grey. And there you go. We have our barrel. Support my small channel, hit the like button for this video, subscribe and hit the notifications so you don't miss out on other videos.